Hello, 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 everyone. Good evening to all of you, our dear viewers. A very warm welcome, and we're here for our third episode of Coffee Conversations, Season 2 at Women on Wealth. So, a show of hands, a raise of hands about you are here, and yeah, it'll be nice to kind of get to know if all of you are here with me. Okay, great. Yes, thank you so much. This is so reassuring. All right, so once again, a very warm good evening and a warm welcome to each one of you for joining us for the third episode of Coffee Conversations at Women on Wealth. And it's a new Monday and a new episode that I bring for each one of you. So I want to begin by sharing that it was just last week, a couple of days ago, I came across this article on Live Mint, and I'm sure most of you would have read it. It talked about self-made billionaires who now dominate India's rich list. They're no longer just the inheritors, okay? And what really I connected with from this article, that this article really gave us showed an analysis that self-made billionaires in India have gone up in the past 2 decades. And though there has been a slower rise, in the other parts of the world, and even in the last 3 decades after the economy opened up, India still has a significantly lower proportion of self-made billionaires. So we're just at about sitting at 59% as compared to the global figure of 70%. So who are self-made billionaires? What do they do to become billionaires? So they are the ones who have either founded a company or actually held a major share, a major position in a company. And that was not founded by any of their relatives. So while this article was explaining a demographic that really connected with me, for which I wish to share, is that it showed that a typical Indian billionaire is a man past 60 years of age. Just 6% of Indian billionaires are women, compared to 12% globally. They include these known names: Savitri Jindal, Kiran Majumdar-Shaw, Smita Krishna Godrej, so we know them. This article ended with a question for me, okay? And it said that, will India see more of young self-made billionaires in years to come? While this question stood with me, another question came to my mind, and I wish to add that and share that and ask that to each one of you here today. And my question is, will India and its women shift this demographic to move away from just 6%? So with this question, I open this episode, and I'm looking forward to each one of you, my fellow women. Please put down your answers. I want to see how many of you really feel that, yes, will there be a shift? My answer here is a very clear, affirmative yes. And what gives me this confidence is, hear me for the next, and allow me for the next 1 minute to really tell you what do we do at Women on Wealth, and what gives me this affirmation that yes, this demographic is certain and here to only and only move much beyond 12%, which we see globally now. So here I am today introducing Women on Wealth, which is a women-centric community. We are on a mission to financially educate 50 lakh women wealth creators by 2030. And in our community, women learn how to take charge of their finances, and they do that through the online financial training and coaching programs for our women, which we provide through a step-by-step approach, so that all our women are able to they learn how to manage their money really well, and also learn how to grow their money most effectively. In the last 9 years of our operations, women in our community have been able to become debt-free, move out of living paycheck to paycheck, saved at least 25% more than they ever saved before, built an investment portfolio by themselves, and learned how to pick quality stocks from the stock market. And we have been able to impact more than 4,000 women so far, who are from all age groups. And women in our community have now become finance ministers of their house, have bought their own land in their own name in their homelands, and at the same time collected a corpus to build their own businesses. So today, Coffee Conversation and this space that we have created is truly to share the grand success stories of each one of our women, to celebrate the success with each one of you, and to also give a huge shout out to share with you that just like each one of these women who are coming here and sharing their journeys of how they've been able to take charge of their finances, all of you there can also do that. And as like I have been sharing this in the past, I will continue to share even today when I begin this, that finance or wealth creation is a system and it can be learned. So on this note, do I see many of you have responded to the question? Oh, yes, absolutely. Thank you, Vinita. Thank you, Shalu. Thank you, Rochelle. Absolutely, these numbers are just about here and here to shift. So without further ado, I wish to bring to you today our guest, and that's Jyotika Bhan. Hi,
Hi,
Jyotika.
Hira. Hi, Hira. So good to be here on the coffee conversation with you.
Thank you so much. So I would just take a brief minute, and Jyotika is yes, a working professional, a trained image consultant, who's an explorer at heart and a great champion at Women on Wealth. And she loves to live out the value of pay it forward and keeps talking and sharing about the work we do here at Women on Wealth to all her friends. So thank you very much, and welcome to you once again, Jyotika.
Thank
So
you,
let's
Hira. Thank
begin.
you so much.
Thank you. So let's begin by first you actually answering this question.
Okay, so absolutely, I think 6% is just not, doing justice to the billionaires count in India. And I'm sure it's a resounding yes that the percentage will go up to, I think, who knows, a 70%. Like I'm being hopeful. And but yes, and we will be here seeing that change come in and be part of that change. And I'm sure it's a big yes. The
Awesome,
number will
awesome.
increase. Yeah.
Brilliant. So amazing. Thank you so much for beginning on such a powerful note. So, yes, please share with us a little about yourself and what brought you to Women on Wealth.
Awesome. So, Hira, like you said, I'm currently working. I'm working with the diplomatic mission. I also worked previously in human resources and immigration. I'm a trained image consultant. I, enjoy contributing to children as a tutor. Currently, I am learning how to do body balance Pilates and different mediums of painting. I have completed my master's in international business and an honors in history from Lady Shri Ram College. That's a little bit about myself. And what got me to Women on Wealth, of course, it was I wanted to really up my game as far as finances are concerned. I had been earning from a young age, like a 24-year-old. And although my family always coaxed me to save, and they always, had advice, but they never gave me the right, advice in the sense where to save. They always said, keep saving, keep saving. And I never saved. And hence, I never had my own corpus. And so it felt extremely important at some stage in life to really have my own corpus, and that's where Women on Wealth really came in. One of my friends, he introduced me to this program to Women on Wealth community, and I can't thank him enough for doing that. And I was very dependent as far as finances are concerned, like whether it's filing of my taxes, it used to be my father or any male member in the family, so to put. And I wasn't very confident about finances as such, and I never took charge. I always thought somebody's out there going to help me, and I always operated from a lack mindset. And although I always had abundance of money, but I always thought I lack it. And that's how I operated in my life. And yes, and Women on Wealth came in at the right time. And I think they really turned around, did a 180-degree shift of my mindset. And today here I am, where I'm completely in the driver's seat as far as my finances are concerned, filing my tax on my own, making my investment choices on my own. Yeah.
Awesome. So glad to hear that, Jyotika. So when you say that, I felt this mindset, the lack mindset, right? Scarcity mindset. Can you share a little more with our women, maybe what is it really? How does one identify that? Is that any different from how you feel later?
So Hira, now it's for me, probably some people may be able to identify, but for specifically for me, what happens is when you are not prioritized into where you want to put your money to. You sometimes are under peer pressure probably, and you want to invest your money in a place where probably that's not your priority. So that what happens is then something comes up for you and you want to spend your money there, but you've already spent it somewhere else, you know. So that's what lack happens. Then you're like, oh, I don't have money for this particular thing. And then you feel, okay, so I lack money. But that's not true. You've just been spending somewhere else where actually you could have avoided spending money and spent somewhere else, which probably would be more useful to you. So it is again about prioritizing, understanding systems, what is important now, and putting your funds and finances there.
Brilliant. That's amazing. So that brings me to the next question. So how did the programs at Women on Wealth really help you shift this and alter this? And I am asking this because I understand that it's really about, how we function in our mind, and that really creates an impact. Yeah.
Right, absolutely, absolutely it does. At your decisions, you everything. So how it made a difference is, Hira, I now am independently taking all my financial decisions. When I say that with full responsibility, actually researching very keenly, and taking interest and deep diving into every instrument that is available to me as a consumer to actually invest into, whether it's stocks, whether it's mutual funds, anything that could be, and now I don't look at a money conversation or a finance conversation like a ghost in a dark room, So it is very comfortable. It's fun to discuss money, and it's okay to discuss it with people, because sometimes when you discuss with people, also you get a different perspective, a different set of information. Like, that's why community is so important, in the sense that supposing you read Economic Times, you don't read Business Standard. And supposing there's an article on, I'm just giving an example of Bitcoin. There's an article in Business Standard about Bitcoin, and you may lack information, but a person who's read that article could be able to add value or add information to you. And then probably you could go out there and read it again, and probably see and make your decision based on research. So that's how the program shifted me. And also I'm able to pick on stocks by doing my own research, whether it's through Money Control or Bloomberg or any such sites available to me. What are the key points I need to look at, whether it's market capital, how much shares are pledged, what's the company qualitative, quantitative, current situation, for me to actually put my money into that particular share, which mutual fund to invest. Is it going to be a large cap, multi cap, and a small cap or mid cap? And then of course communities every day studying each of these sectors, and like there are changes happening on a daily basis on mid cap, so we are up to date on everything. And then we have a choice to go ahead and make that decision. Secondly, like Priyanka, who's the co-founder of Women of Wealth, one of her programs she mentioned, it's not important the amount of money you earn, but it is how you use the money you earn, whether it's a small amount. But then how are you utilizing it? That's more important than actually having a fat paycheck. So it's all about how systematically and how you use your funds and money available to you. and your resources. So that's more important, and that's what Women on Wealth really gears us up for.
So glad to hear that. And when you're talking about market capitalization, you're talking about shares being pledged. Doesn't really look like this definitely looks like, yeah, one of our community members talking. But when you said that, how earlier it was really like the ghost in the dark talking about money was really like that, and how it's really shifted for you. So that's awesome. Yeah. So tell me, Jyotika, was there a turning point? Mostly what happens is for us in our lives as women, we just wait for that time. We just wait for maybe that moment. Okay, like in my life, like I've shared with everyone, there was this, I was laid off from my job, and hence I took charge. And similarly, for many women, different situations come about. But what was the turning point in your life when you decided that yes, you got to take charge of your finances?
Right. Hira, just to put this, that the turning point in my life was when I was confronted to take stand for my own financials, and stand for it. And after my divorce specifically, I understood that it's not just a man's responsibility to solely provide, and it is equally a woman's responsibility. And although my beliefs were different previously, that somebody has to provide for me and all of that, but I realized that I wish to create a net worth of my own, and that was a turning point in my life. Yes.
Okay. Okay. And when you took this, when you've now taken this up, and how, yes, I remember you sharing with me that in the last 1 year there have been so many more things that you have tried to do while you've been focusing on creating money, right, and
Yes.
making it possible. So how has it been in the family? How has it really been looked at for you? Has there been more support, or has anything become difficult or different? Please share with
Right.
us.
So definitely, of course, my family members are extremely happy and confident the way I am making my investments and thinking through on my expenses, and how I'm making my choices in terms of investing money. They are pretty happy, and they are very pleased about it, and they see a very confident me as far as finances are concerned. Actually, knowing what she's doing, walking the talk that she's doing. So yeah, it's been a very positive impact as far as my family is concerned.
Okay, great, great. And while on this note, any conversations that you've had maybe with friends and family while you've shared your journey with them, and how have they really responded or taken it up?
So, Hira, it's been a mixed bag, but I will say one thing, that whoever I've spoken to, I have been able to touch few lives, which was very fulfilling. When like you said, we all have these situations when we lose a job, when we are going through a rough financial circumstance, or a family member is going through. So there have been times I've reached out to my friends at that situation, and they've really, some of them have done the program, and they've really thanked me, and they've really found this very positive, and they actually thought that I gave them something very good, and they benefited, they've got value out of it. So and yes, and that's what I feel, that after doing this course, or the two courses that I did, Money Gym, which is, I would really recommend that. It is like a foundation for anyone to really take charge of their finances, and there are many structures there which you follow, and so it's very important. So whoever I've been able to have a discussion, they have found it valuable, most people.
Great, great. Great. So while I just began, and I was just sharing that yes, and Women on Wealth, what we're beginning to look at is looking at finance and wealth creation as a system, a process in itself. And each one of our structures in the program that we work with are pretty much which really give us that structure, so and build a process. So any structure that kind of open your eyes. That happens with all of us, right? That is just, it just opens our eyes and we just feel, why did this not come to me earlier? So yeah, and yes, considering that you're a graduate of both the programs, so yes, please do share. There are many of our community women who think that sometimes one program done and I should just sit back. So yeah, your experience would come in really handy for all of them.
So just to connect to the last question, one more thing. So there are people who think they already know a lot about finance and they may not want to, really know more. But like I said, again, it's a system, it's a daily work. Any of these structures that you've spoken to are something that you work on daily. Yes, there are some structures where you go work on them monthly or a quarterly basis, but the root of theirs is daily. There are few structures which are dependent, so it's daily that you got to work on them. So the all the structures are magical in the Money Gym program. For me, they are like, amazingly magical. So one of the programs, one of the structures is money in and money out, which is like you record all your money which has come in the day and which has gone out, and it is such a good base to really know where exactly are you spending your money. And then it gets linked up to a monthly tabulation wherein you actually have various heads under which you kind of put in these daily expenses, and you can have a broad picture of a month that how you are spending your money. And then you can have a quarterly and a 6 monthly review of the money that you're spending and how you're spending and where you're spending it, and then probably go and reflect back and see where exactly could all these structures be, where exactly can you avoid spending that much money. Is there a place you could save? Is there somewhere else you would want your funds to go? Is there an expense you want to cut down? Is it an unnecessary expense that you are incurring? And then there are other things, the way you decide on it, so how much joy you're getting out of spending that money. So those things you do in the Money Gym program. Also, like we talked about becoming billionaires, we actually get conscious, and we really get conscious about how much are we earning, per minute or per second or per hour. So there is an hourly rate structure, which is also very beautiful and magical. You really try to know that how much of money are you making per second and per hour, because someone said long back, time is money, and trust me, it is. So and then you get creative with your money. You get new ideas how you could do a certain task or a errand in a lesser amount and probably save that money and invest it probably in a mutual fund every month, do a recurring deposit every month. So the structures are very, very good, and I say that Money Gym is a foundation for anyone, and of course stock program is just the icing to the cake.
I like the way the way you put it, and something most amazing that you shared, that how while working on these structures we become equally creative with our money, right? That how creatively we are able to really look at that. Okay, maybe not spending here, but actually redirecting that money.
So like Hira, you get a value for every rupee you spend. So you derive, and automatically when you work with money like that, your money starts working for you. So it's only when you do it in the essence you'll get to know.
Yes, absolutely. It's only when you do it. So it's only when you get to the gym that you get to know, how healthy you can become. And it's really when you get to these structures that you get to know what kind of magic that they will create. So wonderful, wonderful. On this note, I would definitely, we're so glad, and we have so many of our viewers here with us. And I open this for all of you. We have time, and in case any one of you would be interested in to ask any questions, Jyotika is right here with me, and please feel free to put in your questions, and we're here to answer.
Thank you so much, Hira, for today's conversation. I think I've been able to give myself and add some value to the community today, so feeling really happy about it.
I am so glad. Thank you very much for for champions like each one of you who are helping us reach out to many women and build this community one woman after another. And it's Truly wonderful. Great. So, till we have maybe any question coming up, Jyotika, I invite you to actually share with us that what do you think, what would be your message for all our women out there who are maybe taking some time? I don't know, maybe some of them are still waiting for that time, that turning point. Should they keep waiting? Should they actually just uh, go ahead? Yeah. So what's your message for them?
So, so know that the finances are not a gender specific role. In fact, all women should actively take part in all finances related decisions in their family. And, every woman should encourage another woman who's just right in front of her, next to her, whether it's their mother, daughter, sibling, whoever it is. And they should really encourage them to take decisions and equally participate in the family in any financial matters. I think that's my message to all women. And yes, and add to that percentage of being a billionaire in this country. That's what also I would like to add.
Yes, yes, absolutely. So no longer will we just have men past the age of 60, but we'll have many, many young billionaire
Absolutely.
women
Absolutely.
way below
Absolutely.
the age of 60. And it gives me great pride to share with everyone that we have women who are as young as 22 and 23 who are taking it up, who are taking this responsibility of taking charge of their finances. And it gives us immense pride to support them, to have them move forward in their journey. So on this note, while I do not see any questions. So Ashima, while you have asked us, how does one enroll? So sure. And on this note, I would also like to share with all of you that at Women on Wealth, each week we keep coming up with sessions, and one of our free introductory sessions, and you could please allow me to share with all of you that so we have a financial success model session which comes up, and this session is coming up on in the coming Sunday, and that's the 20th. So at 11 a.m. from 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. And this is the session, and here we talk about the starting point of how can you take charge of your finances. And so looking forward, please do join us. And the number is mentioned right here in the comments to begin and to show your keen interest. Please reach us out on that number. Also, I would like to share with all of you that at Women on Wealth, we have various activities. Like we said, that working on your finances is a system, is a process. And when we come to it each day as a daily activity, that's when we really build it for ourselves. And here at Women on Wealth, we are doing this by creating various activities. And I will share with you once again the activities that we conduct. To begin with, we do every Monday, like today, all of you are here with a coffee conversation series at 5 p.m. on Facebook. On Tuesdays and Fridays, our co-founder Priyanka Bhatia comes in to decode the newspaper. So on a Tuesday morning at 10 a.m., we decode the ET Wealth newspaper. And on Friday morning at 10 a.m., we come to decode the Economic Times newspaper. Wednesdays is at 5 p.m. again. Watch us for the Women on Wealth Money Book Club. And we are bringing another new book for each one of you. So do come in. On Thursdays, Priyanka comes in with her Investment Mastery series, where we pick up one more instrument and deep dive and get to know more about how to really, invest and make the most of that particular instrument. And on Sunday night we have something very interesting at 10 p.m. Candid conversations on money, and we're seeing with every passing week many women joining us for those conversations. So yes, looking forward to see each one of you on these platforms, and please keep joining in. And thank you very much once again. Thank you, Jyotika. So
Thank you, Hira. Thanks so much.
Great, great. So thank you to each one of you for this time, and do look out for us. And I shall again come in with another amazing community member and share their journey with each one of you. So thank you once again, and bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks.